All right, welcome back to yet another Fake Nerds Watch talking about The Last of Us. We're here for Season 1, Episode 4. Please hold to my hand. I am Sparkz Whitty. I'm joined as always by Ryan Eliopoulos.
Jesus, Joel.
And of course, our friend up north, Phai.
Hello, I'm back again.
Yes, absolutely. And now we are really getting into the thick of the road trip stuff.
We are in The Last of Us.
So I'm stoked to talk about another fine episode. I mean, fine in just fine like a fine wine. Not
yes.
It's fine. What are your first thoughts?
I thought it was a pretty good episode of television. I will say, this is the first episode that wasn't like 10 out of 10. Wow, my socks off. But it's also, I think, by definition, not a standalone episode. Where the first thing kind of were. They're obviously telling a sequential story, but each of those 3 episodes kind of tell their own story within this bigger story. This is the first episode where it's like, no, this is a part of an arc now. Now we're doing an Andor where there's multiple episodes in an arc. So we're not getting all the pieces in one episode. So we're introduced to some stuff and we have some questions that I don't have the answers to yet, so I don't know how I feel about it. And that's not something I felt with the show yet, because it's kind of just been, they've given me something and I chew on it. And now it's like, hey, we're introducing you to this group of people, but you don't know a lot about them yet. And I'm like, okay, cool. So overall, I'm pretty happy about it. I hope those characters turn out to be pretty cool. Because so far, they're like, wow, this is like this is like the best episode of The Walking Dead I've ever seen. It didn't totally feel like The Last of Us. But also because these are new elements to the show. Making a lot of our, faceless raiders that we kill in the game, giving them a face. And I'm not sure if I totally love all of it yet, but that's what the next episode's for, I think.
I will, just before you jump in, Pi, I guess I'll counter that I still feel like a solid half of the episode is very clearly still The Last of Us, because I think almost the entire first half is Joel and Ellie and the stuff that we know is the core relationship of the show.
That's true. Yeah.
I hear what you're saying. I
should not have said it didn't feel like The Last of Us, but there's definitely it felt more like an episode of The Walking Dead than an episode of The Last of Us, is what I'm trying to say.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Pi?
I thought it was great. I thought it did even though it is a 2-parter, I felt like it did have an internal arc in the episode, contained within the episode, that was fulfilled. But we'll elaborate on that as we discuss it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, I still that sounded negative. I'm not. It's still a really great episode, but it's like it went from a 10 out of 10 to a 9 out of 10, and that's
And that's fair. Like, coming off of the high of the 3rd episode, like that, those were skyscraper peaks of emotions.
A foundation episode. We're building to more stuff. So, and like, just by the terms of doing that, like we meet a new character, and like she does a thing where like, oh, she seems cool, then she kills somebody she knows, and I've never seen that in the show before, right? Like it's good. It's all good stuff, but I'm waiting for it to like connect to The Last of Us in a real way, instead of just like they're the opposition. That's why like I think the next episode is going to clear. Not that I'm like I have any like worry or anything, but like clear up some of the feelings I'm have of like oh, we're just giving a face to these enemies, but like I don't feel like there's anything super special yet about these new characters.
I'll put it this way, because I think it was the thing that stood out to me. I do not remember what
her name is.
No.
Okay.
What website it was that was hosting this article, but someone posted an article talking about this episode of The Last of Us, and they're like, Joel and Ellie's story has a run-in where they meet up with where they meet Melanie Linsky's character, and I was like, no, they don't. They meet the ramifications of what she's doing, but like those characters do not meet in this episode. And I think that's part of what makes it feel like we dedicate 10 to 12 minutes to her, and she is not going to meet Joel and Ellie in this episode, and that's a little like, oh
yeah. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because they will meet when the arc is full circle. It just like the sequence with her and the man in the prison, it like it's a great scene, but like it didn't, since it's new to The Last of Us, it just felt like, oh, I've seen this type of thing like a million times before, and it's doing a really good version of it. I'm just waiting for like, I need more about these group of people before I have a full opinion of like, because I know who the guy with the gun and the great beard is. I can tell he's a cool dude, but are these guys like really bad guys? Like, I don't know enough about them to get the full picture. Yeah.
I think they're just rebels that were just getting fed up with Fedra.
Yeah.
Well, that's clear.
Yeah.
But I think the thing
of
is,
course.
but the thing is that
Are they cannibals? I don't think so. But like they kill people willy nilly. Like
are they justifiably right in hunting down
Henry and Sam
and Henry?
Yes.
And I think that's going to be the question, which probably not
No.
the answer. That it's probably them taking something too far.
Mhm.
But I think that there's an implication, right? That like Henry, whether it's true or not, what Linsky's character believes is that Henry sold out neighbors to Fedra.
Yes.
That's something that he did. And however that will come about for her confronting him, that is justifiable enough to have him killed and anyone related to him killed.
Yes.
And there's a callousness to her knowledge of like looking right at child drawings that Sam did, and not caring that they're running out of food.
Yeah.
Knowing like this is going to make it easier to hunt them down. So it is putting them in our antagonistic space. I will admit that I'm nervous that there's not really going to be much more meat on this bone.
That's what I'm feeling, because like I don't want this. On one hand, I'm glad again they are giving a voice to the faceless people that we murder like throughout the entire game. But also, like, if this is to the extent that we're going to get to know them, then maybe it wasn't worth it at all. Because The Last of Us is about like everything being quality, and if we're gonna drop it just a little bit, then like I don't know if I necessarily needed it. You know what I mean? Because like I think that like we'll get to it, but like the scene with Brian, the kid, like all that stuff's really great. It's all this additional new character stuff that I'm just not 100% bought in on yet. And again, this next episode could alleviate all of these problems. Like I don't know yet.
And I think, sorry, Phai, you look like you're about to say
please,
something.
jump in.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say like I agree, Ryan, how like they are doing their best to try and show more, others in this world, but not every story is gonna quite grab us as much as say, Bill and Frank's did. These are new people. Here's this new story of a group of survivors, and the leader seems bitter.
Yeah.
To a detriment to her group.
Yeah, I think that's you can't like do in a show the kind of run up against the wall that you do a video game of like everyone you come across that are the people that are the raiders that are coming after you, even though they're not the same group of people. They're all bad. They're all shitty. They all just want to kill you and take your stuff. And only care about their own tribe. And I'm sure that they don't want every group that Joel and Ellie encounter from here to the end of the show to feel like that. So they want to give them their own motivations and make them feel like real people. I understand that aspect.
They still shot first.
I understand that aspect of it and everything. I think that they really want to hold back on the these people are just truly bad until we get more to the middle section of what was the game.
Yeah.
But for here, again, like really what I'm rubbing up against, and it's not really rubbing up against, it's just there's no part of me that believes in the next episode we're going to get anything much deeper about this group. I think that we've kind of been given everything we're probably going to get.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm off. Maybe I'm not giving enough faith considering the amount of hard work they've put into the show prior to this point.
Mm-hmm.
But it does feel like something like, I don't know what more you can tell me about these people that's going to make me care more about them.
I think, yeah. And specifically when I was watching it and do you remember, is it Catherine? Is that her name?
I don't remember.
The militia leader?
I do not remember.
Kathleen, I think.
Kathleen.
Okay,
let's say it's Kathleen.
I'll look it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll correct it later.
Like her motivation, and it's a lot of telling us of what happened to her, and we're supposed to that does suck. Yeah, what happened to you sucks. But it's these people sold my brother out, and now he's dead. But we don't know her brother. We haven't met Sam or Henry yet. This is a lot of unknown stuff that we're supposed to deal with this also brand new character, and it's asking a lot of the audience. When something when you have an hour and a half to tell Bill's story, that's also technically a new story. All that Frank stuff's brand new too. So they can do it with every character. They could do it with every character. And I'm just I hope they didn't try to reach for something and realize, oh, actually we can't do anything with this. And then they cut it off instead of trying to build on it or just remove it. Cause this is probably the only part of the game that I think is really going to get stretched out and turned into Because like we know like the Henry stuff and we know the David stuff and we know the hospital stuff. Like that's all stuff that's like has character. This is the only section of the game where it's mostly just you just killing randos. So like this might be the only part of the show that will be like this. And I'm really excited that Henry and Sam will be part of the next episode, because that means like all the spookiest stuff that happens in that section is going to be with like a bunch of people, and that's super spooky. Yeah.
Which I guess also like lends itself to an idea. Maybe a lot of the Henry and Sam stuff just isn't going to go the way we think.
Yeah.
And means that like all these people are going to mean something different in the end of the story. Like, you know, Bill and Frank, like we went over last time, are drastically different from the video game. So that could be where we're heading. And I trust the show. Of course. It's me purely being like, I hope this isn't just a very shallow attempt at humanizing these folks to a degree where like it doesn't serve the quality of character development the show has given so far.
Yeah, that's exactly the thing I'm rubbing up against. Yeah. And I still, again, like this, the only reason I'm quote unquote maybe sounding negative is just because the show so far has been like immaculate. It's been like perfect. And this is the first time I'm like, oh, like maybe another script pass on this one, maybe. I don't know.
It does feel like even with game knowledge, I wasn't given quite enough information.
Well, she's a brand new character, so that doesn't really matter.
The group.
Don't break it.
It's already broken. That's why it keeps doing that.
Okay.
Sorry. Finish your thought, Sam, and I'll say my thing.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that like I feel that it's not quite giving clear enough information in a way I prefer to have a television show do it, which is, you know, more show, less tell.
Yes.
There's a lot of tell, and even then the tell is not clear. It's in broken pieces. We've put together, you know, probably correctly that it's about Kathleen feels that Henry sold out Neighbors, which means sold out her brother. And she's upset about it. But that's a lot of beats that are never said in a sentence, actually, all together, or conveyed clearly all together.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm like, I think maybe there could have been a little more thought on how we were executing on delivering this information.
You know what didn't need another pass on the script or any help was the Joel and Ellie stuff, because that stuff still great, still immaculate. Those puns, baby, oh my god, she's just as funny, if not funnier.
Before we change, I think Pi did have a point.
Phai, before we jump to the fun zone.
Oh gosh, it was that like in the game, like we can spoil this portion of the game, right? As it correlates to the show.
Yeah, well, up
to Henry and Sam. Let's not say too much about
up to this episode. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because in that encounter, the Raiders and the I guess it wasn't quite clear if those people were the same as the ones who attacked Joel and Ellie, but they definitely come across a more militarized, organized group of them, and it wasn't clear why they were so insistent on chasing us down. On chasing them down in the game when they were just trying to pass through, expending all these resources. But now I think they're with the writers of this show, they're kind of it feels like they're taking a gamble of like, it wasn't quite as elaborated, so like let's give them a reason for why they would be hunting, wasting resources for just two people.
And that's the thing, like if you do want to humanize this group of people, and maybe like they're not all bad, and like it is a bunch of group of survivors, don't have them shoot on a child as soon as they see her. Like, you know, like it's those type of things. Like if you want me to like sympathize, you are hunting people is what you're doing right now, right?
I will give a small amount of defense.
Yeah, please.
I don't think any of them knew Ellie was there except for the guy she shoots in the back.
I think
he's the first guy who knows because he's saying, like, trying to plead, I didn't know.
Yeah.
Like we, you know,
still shooting random people.
No,
is
absolutely.
Not a good thing.
I'm not saying your point is invalid. They see that Joel is gonna burst through the barrier, so they take their shots at him immediately to stop him. But I do think this is part of something they're going to layer into the show. I think it's on purpose that they made sure that they didn't see Ellie.
Yeah.
This is a far cry away from the dragged out of the truck scene.
Yes.
I think it's on purpose that nobody in Kathleen's group knows there's a little girl. among them.
Yeah.
Maybe it would change what they think about this, because right now she thinks these are hired
Mercs.
like not mercs, but like, people called in.
No, she literally used the word mercenaries. She used the word they hired mercenaries.
Mhm.
I remember. I was like, damn, they used that word for Joel and Ellie.
So thinks that someone is coming in to help Henry and kill their group, and that might be where they're going with it. I think it might be purposeful that nobody saw Ellie.
Yeah, no,
who's
that's
alive. Just one dude who tried to plead his case for it, like that they think, you could get a full spin on this, that they think they're the kind of people, Joel and Ellie are the kind of people that we are used to them being in the game.
Yes.
These kind of raider types, these dangerous ones.
See, that's what happens when you
who are just bad people. Well, yeah, absolutely.
Murder happens.
I wonder if that is a way they'll go with it.
Yeah. If Kathleen will have some mercy if she sees that it's
maybe not even her, but just the rest of the group have a real qualm with her, saying that they should kill her.
Yeah.
Because we're already seeing it with Perry. Is that his name?
Oh yeah. Her military guy.
Yeah.
Tommy.
We're
Tommy
already seeing him kind of like, how much are you about your vendetta and how much are you about the greater good? The kind of questioning that none of the Flag Smashers did to Carly and Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah. There is a moment where she's like, yeah, we're gonna go and find him, and what's his name again? Perry or Pierce or something. He's like, and then she's like, I caught that. What do you got? What do you got? It's like, nah, you're doing maybe you're. What about your convictions and all that stuff?
Yeah,
Perry. You were right.
Which one was it?
Perry. Whoever said Perry.
I'm just curious. Like, what the heck did this kid? What did Henry and his child brother do to make her so mad? Like
sell out information that got her.
But I mean, killed. Like, how do you get that mixed up? Where like, unless Henry actually did do that, which could be a big bummer. Like, do anything to protect your brother, right? That could be the big twist,
right?
Where he actually did do it. Still, I don't know. The world, it's the apocalypse. I guess I understand. Murder's bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be interesting to see how some of these threads shake out. I did like the setup of the sinkhole with Perry.
Oh, that's a new element.
Showing it to her.
The emergence hole from Gears of War.
Yeah. But kind of that's a good call.
Yeah. It's the first thing I thought of.
But again, like kind of laying that foundation, I think we will see in the next episode of some people thinking that Kathleen is not in this for the greater good of the people.
Yeah.
Like not letting people know we should really move away from this area.
We'll deal with it after this situation.
Yeah. What?
Is that the icon again?
Yeah.
Fake Nose Watch.
Sorry. I just noticed it was this.
Yeah, I got the right one this time. Yeah.
Okay, good.
I love that. That's like a bloater hole, because like we saw in the tease for the next episode, we saw a big boy. So like now we know, like, oh, like they let you know when they're coming. When it's bloat season, it's a big hole. That's pretty fun. That's also awful that she's just like, yeah, we'll deal with it later. Nothing bad will happen in this situation.
Like so determined to focus resources on something so petty.
Yeah,
it's like, no, just let them go. You've already won.
Like the amount of dudes she has, the amount of cars, like the amount of trucks, she has like a dozen trucks and like 100 dudes. I'm like,
yeah, they completely took over the QZ.
Yeah,
which is also kind of a shift. Is this absolute like command of the resources?
Mm-hmm.
Not to say that the raiders that you encounter at this point in the game don't have a lot. They do, but it doesn't feel quite as
not like this
full tilt army level.
I feel like you don't see this again. It's been a while, Phai, but like you don't see like the type of military that she has. You don't see in the first game, unless you're talking about like the Firefly stuff. But like even then, that's like you don't see a bunch of that like when they're living, right? Like
there's a large group in it's Kansas City in the show. What was it in the game? Pittsburgh.
No, I think it's different. Yeah, Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Where like it's just a group of raiders that are driving around hunting down.
To my memory, I think like once they have one tankish truck, like one of those big rigs. They have one of those that they got from Pedro. You deal with one, and they use it to mostly like block your path more than anything.
Yeah.
Right. But this feels like way more fight a small army kind of deal.
Yeah. So I have to imagine, before we get to like the Joel and Ellie stuff, I have to imagine that like Joel, Ellie, and then who we meet Henry and Sam, like they're gonna go on an adventure running from Kathleen and her troops, and then they'll have some gunfights and some clickers will show up, and there'll be mayhem and chaos and stuff. Because I remember like that's like a puzzle section, like you're doing puzzle shit, like opening grates and like traveling in the sewers and stuff. Isn't that section, Phai? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it's very much navigate the maze and don't die.
Yeah.
Or like it was the. I know. Nope, we're getting further ahead of the episode.
Yeah, I just remember like you just, it's puzzle time, like before you get eaten by monsters. Do you have anything else you want to say about that before we move on?
No. I think we can go to Joel and Ellie, which is the heart and meat of the episode.
Yeah. So
starting with
like so we've had this is the 4th episode, but like it's never really just been Joel and Ellie until now. Like this is like really the first time that they are bonding on their own, and we're 4 episodes in, which is really interesting and cool. Not that they haven't shared time together, obviously they have, but like there's been other characters who have taken a lot of our time, like Tess and Bill and Frank and all that. So this to be like the first dedicated episode where Joel just has to be with her. He can't avoid the responsibility anymore. He's taking it on. It's fantastic. Like we're in the game. We're into them like slowly building trust and love with each other. The pun stuff is just like incredible. The magazine thing straight from the game, like sticky pages and everything. Like give me a break.
Yeah, it's this show is like perfectly familiar. It's like a familiar adaptation, like a stage play. You know, you get a new performance each time, but it's like the heart and soul is still there, and I love it.
Yeah, it's like you haven't watched the movie in like a really long time. You're like, this feels really nice. Yeah. Or like a 4K version. You're like, I didn't notice that detail.
Yeah, I think they really nailed the relationship for this section. The building of it, the bonding between the two. Something I wanted to spotlight. Let me double check my notes real quick because I took just a small amount. The road, when we get to the gas station, the road in the gas station is cracked and breaking. It's coming apart. And I made a note of it only because like that's almost never a production detail you see in post-apocalyptic features. They'll do all the kind of stuff that you see in like the background image around us. They'll do the like overgrown, the buildings dilapidating, cars that are just like, rotting away, all that kind of stuff. But the roads will almost never be like cracked and coming apart because they haven't had maintenance done on them. And seeing that in the gas station, I was like, man, that's a great touch. That is a great detail.
Yeah, the production detail, whether it's practical or CG, it's top notch. Fully apocalypsed from the top to bottom.
This is what happens when you don't invest in our country's infrastructure.
Exactly, and then you got plants growing out of the concrete and shit.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Joel and Ellie
we got the truck, we got the magazine, we got a firefight. Go ahead.
Let's talk about the camp scene.
Thank you. I forgot all about it. Absolutely, yeah. Joel did not sleep that night. That man needs to sleep. Damn it. Ellie's like, do you think people can hear me? And Joel's like, God damn it.
That's why he sleeps too hard at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
It's like, will there be bad people coming for us? Yeah. Ellie asks Joel for some assurances, and then he lies. Yeah, or at least he doesn't believe it, but he just makes sure that she wants to feel safe, and she just responds with, "Okay."
He does the parent thing.
Yeah, they did everything they could to, get really far away from the road. It's not like there should be a lot of people coming by, but
you never know.
You never know.
You never know.
I would have slept in the truck.
I also would have slept in the truck.
I don't know that I totally agree with the idea of not sleeping in the truck under the circumstances.
Well, I have to imagine that Joel felt more comfortable before Ellie was before Ellie said something, because then he is in like his parent mode kicked on a little bit. Just the love activated a tiny bit. He's like, oh shit, I can't sleep for 8 more hours.
I think it might be a hearing thing. Like if you're in the truck, like you probably couldn't hear unless you're in the bed of it. Yeah.
You sleep in the bed, or you just roll the windows down. Also, it's probably not very comfortable in there. It's a small truck.
Yeah.
It's a little bigger than others.
Ellie could definitely sleep in the back seat for sure.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Joel's a.
I think that's even the thing. Like, right? Like, I would at least put Ellie in the truck.
Yeah.
Like, if you are being protective, put that extra like shelter layer between you two.
Nah, she got to use Frank's good smelling
Right.
sleeping bag.
Right.
Oh yeah, that'd be
The puns are on point. The performances between the two are real good. I like the moment where she wants to light a fire because it's cold, and he says, "Why am I going to tell you no?" And she's at first thinks it's because of clickers, and then he's like, "No, it's people."
Way out here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she's learning.
Yep.
The shrooms don't think that hard.
Well, they take a sweet little nap, and Joel doesn't go to sleep. Sorry, Ellie takes a nap. Joel does the Papa thing and watches guard for all night long.
Then gets the big thermos of coffee.
Oh, the poop thermos.
Mud water.
Smells like burning shit. And then he slurps it up.
It may be shit, but it's my shit.
We get the Hank Williams song from the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what the title of the whole thing is. I love it. I forgot it was in the trailers, but I forgot it was in the game because it's been just long enough. And I'm like, man, that's cool. I love that. Yeah. So they go a drive-in.
All the environments look really good that they drive through.
Yeah.
They're all really well created landscapes.
I would love just like, hey, Last of Us VR, just take a drive in the apocalypse, but no clickers, please, because that'll freak me out.
Yeah.
They're driving. The town's just right there, and they just gotta go through the tunnel, but the tunnel's blocked, so they gotta go all the way around.
Well, they don't go all the way around. They try and cut through.
They try and cut through.
That's the problem. He has the option, like, yeah, we double back, lose some time, but it would have been the safer way.
Yeah.
Joel gets overconfident, and Ellie's not familiar with the map.
Yeah, and then Brian plays Please Help. He plays Please Help, but Loki's not there to help him, so he almost gets run over. And then Joel and Ellie crash.
Joel and Ellie crash. Fights ensues. Chaos. And then Joel gets into trouble.
Well, it was a real good. I was gonna say that was a really good cinder block drop onto the windshield.
Yeah,
but I thought that was really good.
Yeah.
The way they staged that.
The police things that you run over, your car runs over.
Yeah.
I also like,
it's a
TV show. It's a TV show, not a video game. Yes. Exactly. It's a TV show, not a video game. So having only like 3 dudes, I think, shooting at them feels a lot more sensible and correctly placed than like
40 over 3 hours.
You're not trying to make the audience feel powerful. You're trying to make sure that they believe this guy can survive the situation.
And three guns is 3 more guns than anybody wants on them. So yeah, it is harrowing, and Joel's doing his thing of like, hey, I'll protect you. Just listen to me and run and go, get in that hole, get in the wall hole. And then Brian sneaks up on Joel. Damn it, Brian.
Poor Brian.
Oh, Brian. Young Brian.
Before that, when Joel shoots the other guy,
the
first guy he shoots, and he's like, "What? You son of a bitch! Look what you did!" And it's like, "Well, stop shooting at me."
Exactly. Like,
what did you expect?
They don't do any of that in The Last of Us 1, but in The Last of Us 2, like every single combat encounter, you kill someone, it's like, oh my god, they killed Frank, or they killed Johnny.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get you. And I'm like,
they really personalize it. It's like, hey, no, you go out of the way to make you feel bad.
Yeah. So yeah, Ellie has that gun from Bill and Frank's house. Joel's in a bad spot. He might get got soon. What does Ellie do? She shoots him in his butthole. Right in the crack. Poor Brian.
Doesn't kill him, but then he gets to do that thing that many of us players got to see in the games, which is if you don't kill a person enough, they cower and beg.
They'll cower for 5 minutes, and their animation will loop over if you do it.
And then Joel gets to do his thing.
It's a pretty harrowing scene. Yeah. His pleading, like, we can trade, it'll be okay, and like he knows it won't happen.
Because he's probably been in this exact same situation before, where he's been on the other end.
I'm curious to see if they do touch on it in the next episode, because I do think that Ellie being there changes it, and maybe changes how he would have handled it and how they as a group would feel about it.
I guess
it could. It's, it does change from like, these are raiders to like, this, for all they know, this is a man and his daughter just trying to make their way through. And that could change on an individual level perspectives. So he might genuinely feel like, we read this wrong, I'm so sorry. But also everything he's putting forth of like, we can trade, we'll make it fine. My mother can help with blah blah blah.
My mom.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it's like, dude, that like it's already too late for that.
Yeah, totally. He was shooting at all these people. Like, man, when you put yourself in a gunfight, like things are gonna happen. And like, yeah, you're going back to your life. I'm sorry, Brian. But man, calling for his mom though, that's real rough. Because that kid was he might have been like a teenager, like 20 something. He looked real young.
I don't know the name of the actor playing this kid, but he did a good job.
He did. Yeah. Him crying for his mom. And again, like not being on his face, like being on Ellie's face as this is happening.
Yeah.
And then Joel doesn't use a gun. He uses a knife because it's silent. And he doesn't have to waste a bullet.
They were already loud, but yeah, exactly the same as the bullet part.
For the HBO podcast, they pointed out correctly that like one of the important things about this moment is that Ellie doesn't plead to Joel like
not to do it.
Yeah, or try to barter for this man's life. She's not doing that. It's still affecting her, and there's this beat of her going back into the hole and wiping her tears away, where like being upset about this is weakness to her.
Yeah.
Because she wants to be like Joel.
She wants that, and that's the thing that it's leaning. It's interesting because this is something The Last of Us 1 did not do. At least I don't think like Ellie leaning into her violence through Joel, and like she likes Joel because like he can protect her, and like she sees like a father figure in him, and like his violence makes her like want to be violent, and it's so like. It's good storytelling, but it's awful for that character because like I know where her journey goes, and I'm like, oh man, they're setting up all the sadness extra early. It's just really good. It's like it's so compelling just watching them like act with each other, and Joel like having to do that thing of like asking if you're okay, and she responds, yeah, I'm fine, like it's no big deal, and like he recognizes that, and like no child should have to go through this, which he says. It's
I'm gonna say it. I think they handled Ellie shooting somebody better in the show than they did the game.
I think they do too.
Yeah. Isn't like
this was exactly what I asked for, and they did it. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, wasn't it with like anger in the game? Like he's mad at her. I don't remember.
Like sure. he Joel in the game is situationally being like, yeah, I told you to do something, and you're doing the exact opposite. And whereas in this one, it was more just about Ellie's reaction for me, because in the game, she's just more like, oh, I shot the hell out of that guy. Oh, I feel sick. You glad I did it, right? And it's like, yeah, I am, but whatever. Then in this one, it's just like, no, she's feeling it. You can tell she's like, yeah, just like trying to fight back the tears, where it's like, no, practicality. We are in survival mode. I don't have time to worry about this, but she's still a kid.
She's processing it, yeah.
And like execution notwithstanding in this context, in the game, when it happens, the first time you play the game and the first time that it was released, the intention was that this was the first time she'd done this.
Yes.
When the first game was fully made at the time, that's what it is. But that's not the case
in this
here.
one. Yeah.
And we learned that real quick. And I think you're right, Phai. I think that it's a better, more character rich, as it should be for this show, decision for how they handle it.
Do you think that it's Riley that she killed?
I don't want to get too deep into it because we're too close to game spoilers.
That's not at all. I am only going off what the show has given us.
No, I get you.
Literally only going off the show has given us.
I get you.
And also, I never played Left Behind, so I've seen one cutscene from it that was really cute. So I actually don't know what happens in that game.
Gotcha.
That's my fault. I'm just going off context of the show, of how every time somebody brings up a relationship or Marlene brings up Riley, that she's real sad about it. So like, I don't think, obviously that situation didn't end happily, right, but it could have been she's the one who had to end Riley's life. That's what I'm assuming happened in this version.
I'm gonna say that
because it's not her parents, because she's an orphan.
I don't know if that's what they're gonna do with the show. I'll say that because I don't know.
I don't think it's gonna be some rando either. It's got to be somebody important. I think if she's already killed someone, it can't just be some random dude. I don't think.
We'll
so
find out.
importantly, the language is that it's not the first time she's hurt someone, because this also wasn't her killing someone.
Yeah.
It's not the first time she's hurt someone like this.
Yeah.
I don't know that Ellie's caring enough in the show for me to think that it was someone that close to her that was the first time.
Okay.
I think that would carry a greater trauma than I think Ellie's bringing.
Okay.
I think it's very possible that the events are connected, but not necessarily that's what it is. I also wondered to myself, like, maybe whatever direction they decide to take the show, maybe she's also only referring to it depends on what she thinks of them, but like what she thinks of hurting the infected. Because
do you think
when
she's
we watch
referring
her-
to the basement moment?
No, I don't think that that's the first time either, but I'm saying that I wonder if this is just how she thinks of hurting the infected and what she's done to infected people, and that like that's kind of removed, and this was still the first time it was like someone she saw as a person.
Yeah. I don't know yet. What do you think, Phai?
A little bit of both. Like Sparkz had the point of it just like it being just more the impact of it being a person, if I'm hearing that correct.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like who knows who she would have killed. Like she hurt the guy, the Fedra officer back in episode 1, but that was more just like, you know, an instinct of don't look at the tester here.
Yeah. Almost like self-defense.
Almost, but definitely had like the intent to, you know,
To hurt him. Yes.
Yeah.
to hurt.
Yeah.
And then Joel does it, and so she's feeling. I feel like feeling in that moment a little like, no, I can do this. You know,
Activated.
Yeah. God, he's
I
used some weird words.
I don't know why I don't like that word. It just feels like she's like a Russian sleeper agent when you use that word.
He even used the word delicious for some strange reason. I was like, I don't like that association. I can't quite remember which one it was, but I think it was like no, I'm not gonna no.
Was it the kiss?
No, it was something like something about fatherhood and like a delicious abundance. It was weird.
No, I remember. Okay. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, hey, he's a great writer. Okay, so we're
moving on.
I don't even know where we go from there.
I think we can back up a little bit. I did want to touch on. I really like that. You know, once the situation is ended, Joel, Ellie, you gotta find me a way in. I can't go through there.
Oh, the video game moment.
Yeah. You know, it's just nice when like they find a way to work in like very video gamey moments, but they feel right in the show.
You got to do the hop up, and you got to wait the 20 seconds for her to get to the door. And
which that was a really safe space for her to be in.
Yeah.
That they had no other way to get in there. I think we can also talk about, related to it, the probably the most important moment in this episode, which is the teaching her to use a gun. You know, giving the permission, like, carry this gun. Here's how you hold it smart, hold it like this.
Yeah.
And like she's all about that. She wants to learn, and I think that this is. Mason said this. I don't want to pretend this is an original thought. Mason said this on the podcast, and I think he's probably right with the intention of what they were doing with the show, which is that this particular kind of teaching moment about something like this is not something he ever had with Sarah.
Oh yeah,
something that he felt really like, I'm good at this. I can teach this.
Something that will be important in
He
life.
Never shared something like that with Sarah.
Yeah.
And he is sharing it with Ellie. It's a new kind of like parenting.
Yeah.
To him.
21st century bonding. Yeah.
It's like for him, it's all about construction and fractions.
Yeah, how to make splints and like how to like fix a gunshot wound.
Yeah.
You know
all the practicalities.
We know enough.
But Sarah was sorry.
No, you're good.
Yeah, like Sarah was like clearly a lot smarter than Joel ever was in life, and had a much brighter future ahead that was unfortunately cut short.
Yeah, it's not to say like they didn't have common interests. They obviously did. It's just what did Joel have to teach her that she was gonna feel like really like there was this connection between them.
Yeah.
And I think that is something that he's finding new about his relationship with Ellie.
Mhm.
and probably enjoyable. Like he's starting to like her.
Mhm.
Like he likes he's starting to like how much of a smartass she is, because like he can lighten up and he knows it.
Right, like in the beginning, she's like, I was stayed up all night wondering where the sun went, and he's just like, no, stop. I'm not ready to feel this right now.
Yeah,
they do a really good job with like some of the comedy in this episode. Like you can nod off for a little while. It's going to be a long drive. What are you talking about? I'm completely awake. Hard cut. Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's a long story. It's longer than 25 hours, so we got plenty of time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bella Ramsey's like just perfect. Pedro's still killing it.
You brought up a great point I kind of forgot about. Really interesting use of like really developed Tommy backstory. Specifically talking about Desert Storm.
Oh, he's a veteran.
Using that as a reference point, using Desert Storm specifically as a reference point.
That's right.
Of kind of where they came from, of like, and I think where Joel's disdain for Tommy joining the Fireflies
he's
comes
a joiner.
Of because yes, exactly, but like he watched him get dicked over during Desert Storm, and now he's watching him in his mind get dicked over again anytime he joins a group like this.
Yes.
So I thought that was a really well fleshed out and timely for the time that the whole thing happened for their timeline.
And it makes sense again, because like how like Joel's like a prickly dude, but like when you have a family, like you care for your family, and like if like your brother is this type of person, like he probably helped him after Desert Storm. Like, because he's a good brother. And then, after the Firefly shit, he probably helped him out a little bit too. And then they disconnected. So Joel's like, here I am again. I got to pick up my brother's shit. Like, it's my responsibility, even though it's like, it's out of obligation, but it's love.
I think this is a really super valuable question and something to think about. Just like we will not get a concrete answer in the show, but I do think it's an interesting thing about these characters of Tommy and Joel as we know them in the show. Whose house do you think they were in? Do you think that was Joel's house or Tommy's house? Because they both lived there.
I bet it was Joel's wife's house.
See, I'm wondering because, like, was it Tommy's? It was Tommy's truck, not Joel's.
Well, no, that's because he came to eat breakfast there. I think that's Joel's house.
No, it was
because Sarah lives there.
Yeah,
yeah. I think it's. Okay, we never know what happened with Joel's wife, but I'm sure they had a regular family. They both had an income; they could afford a house like that. She passed away probably.
Contractors made good money back then.
Yeah, if you're working like overtime on your birthday, bro, come on, Joel, take a break.
Which is also again like what I'm saying, because I think there's still a perfectly valid read that Tommy can also live there. And that Tommy's not able to.
Oh yeah, he's staying
take care of.
Oh sure,
that's what I mean. Is like Tommy's getting work with Joel. Tommy's getting a place to live with Joel.
Yeah.
Or bouncing around or living in the truck.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Yeah.
Like that's the kind of thing.
That was Tommy's truck. At the very least, that was
it is Tommy's truck. That's why I think that's really important that we know specifically that was Tommy's truck because of the veteran stickers.
Yeah.
And again, like not something you'll get a concrete answer, but I do think it informs on like what that relationship is, who kind of sees themselves as the provider and who doesn't in that relationship between brothers.
Yeah. And Joel is like always providing, so Tommy always feels like he will always be there to eat the food, basically. It's like, is that like that's from episode 1? Like that's that dynamic.
But I think like this is me kind of bringing game knowledge, but like, is that really who Tommy is, or is that Joel's perspective of Tommy?
That's probably Joel's perspective,
right?
Yeah,
that's what I think.
like he doesn't give his brother enough credit.
I think that's part of something we'll get later.
Whereas like space to kind of like grow as a person.
Yeah, like like.
And sorry, go on.
No, yeah,
I have a very side thought.
Yeah, Joel probably thinks that Tommy went to join Desert Storm to be a hero, but maybe he actually thought I have to help. Like I do want to help people, not be a hero, but help my country. And like that's not like that.
And after he comes back, Joel thinks that Tommy can't handle coming back and doing things on his own.
He needs his help. Yeah,
but is that necessarily true? Is that who Tommy is?
Does maybe Tommy have like PTSD and actually needs help?
Right.
And Joel's like too thick-headed to realize that?
Yeah,
absolutely. Yes, I guarantee we'll have a confrontation of like, Joel, you always look down on me. You always look down on me, no matter how hard I tried.
Right.
I could definitely see that conversation happening.
Oh yeah.
How you gotta bring us to wherever you want to go.
Oh well, it was just more like I am now like remembering some interesting world details of the first episode where Joel was mentioning how he's like, hard strapped to get these jobs done because if he doesn't get them done in time, he doesn't get paid. And it's like, wait, why would he be struggling for money? Then I remembered 2003. That's kind of when the recession started.
Yes.
Sure. Yeah.
No, it's a great point. I think they're being very smart about how the point in time where the world ended informs who Joel and Tommy are today, regardless of like the 20 years that have passed. Like you're informed by a society changed, but you are informed by how the culture shaped you up to that point. And then a new thing occurred. But that culture, it defined you up to that moment.
Yeah, and then
and as many people on the internet have correctly pointed out, we're talking about people who never found out how George Lucas's prequel trilogy ended. And that must be bothering them forever.
Oh, Attack of the Clones was the last theatrical Star Wars. Man, that's a lie.
Oh man.
Some people
no more Jar Jar Binks.
Oh no. Joel and Ellie, they go through some scraps. They get out of it. They gotta get somewhere safe. They go into a big skyscraper, right? And then they find a room. And then Joel knocks out all the glass. Then he puts the glass on the floor. Ellie's like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" He's like, "Well, it's for safety." And like, "Oh, crunch, crunch. I get it. That's smart."
There's a good bit when they're breaking into the skyscraper where Joel is pushing Ellie through the window, and he's like, Ellie, damn it, I'll get the door, like be quiet, do the thing. And she gets the door and she's like, where would you be without me? And he's like, in the truck. in Wyoming. Yeah.
It's like fair.
I love I love that he can it can be funny but also brutally honest.
Yes.
And she's like, yeah, that's tracks. Yeah, it's cool. It's the apocalypse. It's cool.
Anything scary in there, and his go-to response is always just you.
Just you. Wow, it's still not funny. And then that was the glass bit. They get their sleeping rolls ready. Joel's got a bad ear, so he sleeps on the good ear.
That was so smart to introduce both the glass thing and then very quickly you have a bad ear, don't you?
Yep.
It also shows how perceptive Ellie is.
Yeah.
To notice
She's
they're not playing on give me story mode in the game. This is grounded. You don't get hearing.
Yeah. You don't hunker down and see the sound barriers around you. Yeah.
He's playing hardcore mode right now.
And I love, and like you brought it up earlier, but like Joel didn't sleep last night, right? So he's probably extra tired. He's starting to have a great time with Ellie. He's lowering his guard,
laughing.
What's the joke that she gives him?
Huh?
What's the joke she tells him to?
Finally
break through that final wall.
Do you know diarrhea
is
hereditary? It runs in your genes.
Excuse me.
Joel's like the stupidest goddamn thing.
Joel probably laughs the first laugh he's had in like 10 years.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And you see that barrier going down, and he's like, "I'm losing it," and she's like, "Yeah, you are big time." And it's
Start of the episode.
Their first real moment together, and it is so beautiful.
Yeah,
it is like the thing you've been waiting for, and you're like, "Oh, this is the good stuff." And Joel gets so comfortable, rolls over on that other side on that bad ear. He can't hear nothing now. Bad ear up, good ear down. Crunch, crunch, crunch. They wake up with some guns in their faces. Yeah. Who is that? Who are they, Phai? Who's got guns in their faces? Who's that?
Henry and his superheroes, Sam.
Was he wearing superhero face paint when you first came in the game?
No, he's got the freaking goggles and in the game.
In the game. Oh, okay.
I thought that was a new touch and really cool.
That's a great detail.
He's a lot younger. He's a lot younger in this one.
He definitely is.
And
boy, what a fun game that is. I'm so excited because again, we know the big beats, but they've changed in significant ways. So I am so curious. My cat's playing with something that's real cute. I'm sure there will be some tragedy, but I am so excited to see the stuff they do with all with the clickers and the bloater, the action. I'm so excited for the stress. Ooh, there's a type of clicker. No, there's a type of enemy we haven't seen yet. And I'm pretty sure it's supposed to show up around this area. Phai, I don't want to say what it is or who it is, but it's a type of enemy in the game.
We can talk about it in the spoiler section, so we'll save that for a moment.
I'm very excited for the next episode.
This was a short episode too.
Well, I mean, compare it's only 50 minutes compared to an hour and a half. So, like,
One last note I
Yeah.
think that I have about the episode when Kathleen is presented the people that Joel killed, and then she's like, would a doctor have saved them? And they're like, no. And then she decides that now no one needs a doctor, so she goes and kills the guy.
that's the thing, man. That's when it just felt like the Walking
petty.
That's what it felt like The Walking Dead to me. Or I'm like, what? Like, I understand, like, you're supposed to show how hard she is, but I'm like, would you really just kill the only doctor? Like, really? Like,
these three
that's
people
just
died,
bad.
and a doctor wouldn't have saved them. So now a doctor isn't necessary for anybody.
I was just like, wow, I guess this sure is the apocalypse. It felt like the most like, all right, this felt a little too generic apocalypse-y for me.
Not only a doctor, the doctor that delivered her.
And again, like, I am all about, like, you are someone who is so hard and you will kill, like, someone you like. I like that, for storytelling reasons, that's great. But, like, giving it to me in like this this micro scene where I'm introduced to this doctor for 30 seconds and then you go and kill him, I'm just like, I should have felt more, I think, but that's why I'm excited for that next episode, because I'm sure it'll alleviate a little bit, just a teeny bit.
All right.
It's like, well, I think the thing is, they're not writing her in a way that makes her rationally relatable.
Yeah.
But are we still interested in what her whole deal is, or is it just kind of still pretty surface
honestly
level?
No. Honestly, like, if this were the end of her story and we just continued on, like, I wouldn't feel like it'd be missing much, if I'm being honest, unless we're going to be adding to it for the next episode.
I'm more invested right now because of the actor playing the character than I am in the character themselves.
Yeah, I'm hoping that they can do more with that character. Yeah, I'm very excited because the next one is going to be, it is by all counts. Episode 3 is the tearjerker episode. Episode 5 is the spooky episode. So I'm stoked.
I think it's the escape from New York episode.
Yeah, escape from was it Kansas City? Where are they? Kansas City?
Escape from Kansas City, yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta get the president and his child out.
Snake Plissken.
All right. I think that'll do it for the episode discussion. So now, if you're unfamiliar, we're going to move into talking about things coming up related to our knowledge of the video game.
We're going
to just talk a little bit about where we think things are going. If you don't want those video game spoilers, go ahead and bounce out now.
We'll
see you next time.
Thank you for watching. We're going to spoil things now. Thank you for watching.
Okay. Want to get back to that enemy you were talking about?
Yes. The stalkers. They're the stealth ones who hide behind corners, and they're the worst enemy in the game. And by that, I don't mean they're bad. I mean they're too scary for me. They're the ones they literally look around the corners and they run away. That shit is so scary. And if we see those guys in this next episode, I'm gonna freak out, man. Oh, I love it. We know bloaters are coming.
Do you think they'll blow those and bloaters at the same time, or will they hold off and put the stalkers in at a later point?
The thing,
because you're right, they are the most intense,
yeah,
and scary, and you can really do something with that.
Yeah.
I wonder if they'll hold them back for closer to the finale.
I think so, because just judging from the preview of next episode, it looks like it's like almost like an explosion or something happens, and because just fire and shit, right? Like, and the bloaters behind them.
Yeah.
So, and that's not very stealthy. That's more like just clickers and runners and stuff. So
I think, it's more like the situation's just gonna go really bad for everybody.
Yeah. So I think just like like the upside down sequence, I'm sure we'll see that later. I think the stalkers we will see, but we'll see them later. I think it'll be more of like a running from Kathleen and bloater stuff happening around the same time, just chaos ensuing, stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh, you want the rope trap? I really want them to throw a brick and make a nail bomb.
Oh, I want that too.
Oh, I guarantee we will. I will guarantee a brick. I would love a pipe bomb or a Molotov. Molotov's pretty easy. Pipe bomb's a little more. The nail can.
Just like
nail bomb.
Yeah.
A desperate kind of thing of just like
Yeah, that nail grenade actually is pretty sick. I would love to see that.
But I think you're right. I think we definitely see a brick as like I want to see a brick tossed as a distraction.
Oh yeah,
for the clickers.
Henry and Sam. Our predictions for Bill and Frank were completely wrong. For the better. I'm
gonna bring this up too.
I'm not convinced that Henry and Sam will have a similar different fate. I think for this show, I think they're gonna wanna show us like, hey, this is like another Joel and Ellie, and it just didn't work out for them. I think they're gonna, because we had a good episode, I think we're gonna have a sad episode. I think it is gonna say relatively the same with more character development. Unfortunately, how do you guys feel about that one?
I think you're probably right.
Yeah.
I think that their fate is an important tragic point, regardless of like how much maybe they should have had more of given to them in the game prior to that.
Yeah.
Their loss is big. It's big for the player.
Yes.
I think that
It's
they
big for Ellie,
probably
yeah.
will want to maintain that.
Yeah.
Um,
Specifically, like, it's been a while, but isn't it like Ellie has to shoot Sam? Like he's turning like right in front of her. So isn't it something like that, Phai?
She gets attacked. Then Joel tries to do, what everyone tries to do against an infected. But then Henry's just like, I don't know. I can't process this right now. Like, I don't want you to kill him, but we need to kill him. But he's my brother. And then what happens. Bam,
Oh
bam.
yeah, yeah, and then that happens. Yeah, I
think importantly, I do think that their fate might go a little differently. I don't know if they'll go the route of
the similar of the game,
of the double of the kill and then the suicide,
the murder suicide.
I don't know that they'll do that as the way they both go out, but I do think they'll both go out.
I do think they will both go out. Maybe like more tragically with like zombies or like.
But I do think it'll have to do with getting infected, because another thing is that it kind of puts into perspective like what's at stake for Ellie to possibly be the cure, right?
Yes.
Who does that save?
Sure.
There you go. It saves these two.
And having it, man. In fact, making is Sam the younger brother? Sam's the younger one. Okay.
Yes.
Having Sam even be younger, making it even more tragic, will like make it to show that Ellie like how important this is. Because like if this is happening to children, like nobody's safe. Like you gotta try to save the world, right? Like this is happening to children. Like this is not cool, man. Like,
for sure.
Yeah, I'm just again like I'm so thrilled for the action stuff, because this is going to be like zombies and humans and our protagonists all dealing with each other at once, and it's going to be just like chaotic, and like we're going to see a bunch of Kathleen's people get got. I'm sure. I think it's going to be. I think a lot of them are going to get savaged. 21 Savage, pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's kind of the thing, is like I feel like everything's going to fall apart because of the bloater situation. And that's why it's like it's kind of not going to matter how you feel about the morality of the group or one way or another, because they're all going to get murdered before you could care.
It's that bloater hole is in their base too, isn't it? Okay, yeah. So it's going to go bad. Yeah. From Jump Street.
That's why it's a problem, because they should. Sorry, real quick, Phai. It's why it's a problem is because basically what Perry's saying is like we need to grab everything we have and move it to a different part of the town.
That's right. We need to leave. That's right. We'll deal with it tomorrow. That's tomorrow's problem.
What do you think the bloaters are going to throw since they got rid of spores?
They can still like
a tendril blob.
Oh yeah, they can throw like tendril balls, and it'll be like, yeah. Ooh, that's gonna be interesting, actually. Yeah.
Oh no, I don't want it. I don't like it.
Are bloaters the same one that shoot the things out of their mouths?
They're the ones that kind of just like explode and like make the spores in the game.
Oh,
and then they also throw little bombs.
Isn't there an enemy that shoots something at you?
I don't think so.
No,
you're thinking of a spitter from Left 4 Dead.
Yeah.
No, like in The Last of Us, you're in a basketball, like you're in a school fighting something
the bloater throws like spore pods.
And he doesn't spit.
He doesn't spit. Okay, I'm just complaining. Okay.
And there's also like that one evolution before bloater in the second game that I'm forgetting what they're called, but they like create acid.
Oh yeah, that's not as cool. Okay. Yeah, we'll definitely.
But it also makes sense because that's like a byproduct of fungus too, is to create some kind of a vinegar or a acidic substance.
That's a good point. Drink it, make some out of it. That was a weird like Paul McCartney thing. From Dewey Cox.
I was gonna say you're referencing Dewey Cox.
I'm referencing Dewey Cox.
I accidentally finished that movie.
Do we have any more predictions on this one? Before we wrap her up?
Well, I think we tell the whole Henry and Sam story in the next episode.
Oh yeah. And
then after that is.
Are we almost at winter?
We gotta be getting to David now.
We're almost at winter. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think like?
Ooh, so I
think this next episode ends with with the lead into that.
Yeah, I think 5 will end the Henry thing.
I will say I'm kind of sad we're not getting the seasons at the beginning of episodes or anything.
I
do you think we get a season jump, like a time jump? Because we do. Their journey gets slowed down, so
does it happen before the winter section? I mean, remember.
a slowdown happens before the winter section.
I wonder if they'll just cut that for time, and we'll know. I'm sure there will be a time jump, but I don't think like anything substantial will happen in the middle, because that's why there is a time jump. Like, they made a lot of distance. They made it to this point, and it's cold now.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Tommy stuff.
Tommy,
gotta happen first.
Tommy, and then the university where they track down the next location of the Fireflies.
Yeah. Okay. So actually, we probably got two episodes at least more after this one. So probably 3 episodes before winter stuff.
So 5, 6, 7, 9.
I have imagined winter is.
I don't remember the order that all these things happen.
I have to imagine winter's 2 episodes, and then the finale is like the last, like the hospital stuff.
Oh, that's like winter could be 7 and 8.
Because Joel's got to get punctured, and then Ellie's got to do 6.
Oh my gosh!
It's interesting to think about.
This is one of those things where I was like, I know that like Last of Us isn't an incredibly long game, but I'm like, I don't know if you should put all of this into a single season of 9 episodes, but I trust them. I'm sure that they've got it.
I think I haven't played it so recently. But like with the expansion of like the character stuff that they're doing, I think
not to mention we still have to get like at least 30 minutes of an episode is dedicated to
Left Behind.
Is to get dedicated to Left
I wouldn't
Behind.
be surprised. Yeah, so like I think we're on the right trajectory. Yeah, for sure.
With what they're doing with like the varying length episodes is that they are actually committing an appropriate amount of time to each arc. Like with this one, it's like, oh, it's a 2-parter. Like these are 45-minute moments because most of this section is gameplay.
Yeah, that's true. Again, and half of these people we're killing, like they don't talk. Like we are getting new faces for a lot of these combat interactions. Which is welcome, I suppose.
In place of gameplay, it's like while Joel and Ellie are climbing through buildings, wading through sewers, and all that stuff. Here's these usurpers just going, "Hey, yo, what about this hole?" And it's like,
as Kathleen,
revenge first.
As Kathleen is shooting her longtime doctor, Ellie is on a raft somewhere with Joel, trying to get her across a bridge, putting up a ladder. All that fun gameplay stuff we can't see. Any final thoughts? Any final thoughts on this episode, Phai? Before we say we skedaddle out of here.
It's great to see the 1-for-1 scene recreations. I love them.
It's true. Any final thoughts, Mr. Sparkz?
I think the episode is pretty good. Hopeful for where the show's going. I think that it's a very good sign that everyone else in our house is highly anticipating needing more of the show.
Yes.
So, yeah,
it is. And again, like this is one of those shows where like every week it's gaining more viewers. Like almost 7 million people. Like that's insane numbers for, again, like a video game adaptation about a zombie apocalypse. It's so good. So happy to be here. I hope this sets a good precedent for video game adaptations. I mean, I know we have like 1,000 coming from Amazon alone. So HBO, hurry up, go faster.
All right. I think that'll do it. I'll start doing some wrap-up stuff. I will say that, we'll be back again very soon for the next episode.
Super Bowl.
So look out
Super
for
Bowl
that.
is messing things up.
We might record it tomorrow. We'll see.
It's true.
We'll play that a little bit by ear, but it'll be out soon. And then we'll continue, I think, trying to do weekly for the show. However, Phai will miss 1 episode, I think, in there. And I'll also
Maybe 2.
Subsequently after him, we'll talk about it. Depends on the dates.
Yeah.
Miss an episode after that. And then we'll come back together for the last 2, I think.
The Last of Us.
So we'll be with you for the long haul.
It'll get talked about regardless of how it happens. We'll be there.
All right. Well, okay, friends. This has been Fake Nerds Watch. We are here on this YouTube channel talking about The Last of Us. It is our only Fake Nerds Watch running series right now. We did have a 1-season wrap-up for Willow, but otherwise it's Last of Us right now until Mandalorian starts.
Ooh, and then we're doing double Pedro Pascal month. Ooh,
Double Daddy Pedro!
Double Daddy Pedro.
So look out for Mandalorian
DDP.
coming in a few weeks.
Wow, yeah.
And then we also have an audio feed for the show now. So if you are listening to us because of the audio feed, well, welcome.
Thank you.
Please enjoy The Last of Us. Please enjoy, if you've watched Andor, go back and listen to our Andor episodes that are on the audio feed. And then there will be more things that we're uploading from the YouTube. Or you can just go to YouTube. It's all here. Fake Nerd Podcast, over on there, we are currently going through the Scream franchise in anticipation of Scream 6. We just talked about Scream 1 and 2, and we'll soon be talking about Scream 3 and 4.
Whoop, whoop.
Our co-host Ben Magna has never seen the films before, so this has been quite a fun journey for us.
It's true.
So check that out. And then we got Pause Menu. We just dropped a quarterly over on Pause Menu talking about the video games we played at the end of last year.
It's true. It's true.
And I don't think that there's any other spin-off shows that have released anything. So just go check those out. You can find us anywhere on fakenerdpodcast.com, anywhere here on this YouTube channel. Check all that stuff out. All right. I'm Sparkz Witty. You can find me at Sparkz Witty on Instagram and Twitter, SPARKZ Witty. Ryan, where can people find you?
They can find me at DJ Tony Snark 616 everywhere, all the time, all at once.
Phai?
Oh, yes. I am on Instagram, Midnight Sush, or Sugar Daddy Loot Drops on TikTok.
Sugar Daddy Loot Jobs.
It never stops being funny that you have that name. All right, cool. You gotta utilize it. It's there.
Exactly.
Right.
Literally a music producer told me to claim it before any kind of other musician copyrighted it.
Sell it for $10,000.
There it is. All right. Well, that'll do it. So until next time, stay fake, nerds.